My laptop just died. Like literally just it flashed a thing and shut off. So anyway, I'm on my phone. I hope you can splice it together.
I heard a little
Room.
Yes.
Lucas Oil Studios, Freak Nation, 22 years, man. And Ron C. Capps has been a part of that for those 22 plus years here in the Freak Nation. 3-time Funny Car champion joining us here in the Freak Nation back to back for the first time in 20 years since John Force has done it. And we were talking about this just before we went live, Ron, about it not sinking in. When it sinks in, what does it feel like? I don't know what that means.
It's weird. These moments, been doing media last 2 days, and these moments, like you just reading off all that, it reminded me what went down. I'm so, we've had great moments in my career, and I've always kind of wanted to, Tony Schumacher in the run and all these last minute heroics of drivers on the last round of Pomona winning everything. And I've loved watching it, but I always sort of wanted to be at some point in my career down the road, wanted to do that in that scenario and be involved in that scenario where it came down to it and you actually pull it off, which going into the day, we had a great chance, or let's say a good chance, not a great chance, because Robert Height's team is unbelievable and they're always good at Pomona at that track. So it just seemed stacked against us to pull it off, and the way it ended up. And then you throw the being an owner, and then the first time 20 something years somebody's done it back to back. It just, every time somebody like you has mentioned it, it just completely it sinks in a tiny bit. And then I sort of forget about it until I'm walking around the house. And I'm like, holy cow, 3 times. And it's just, it's been fun.
So Ron Capps, your 2022 NHRA Funny Car champion 3 times, first time as a team owner and a driver. Some luck had to go your way. Robert Height had to go out. Hagan had to go out. Where were you? Can you tell me where you were, or who told you? I imagine you were in the car when Hagan went out and then Height went out. Where were you when those 2 guys went out first round and then Robert Height later?
I was getting strapped in when Hagan went out. It was first round, and I just, all of a sudden, all my guys had this, because you can't hear. And I heard something, and I heard the crowd kind of roar, but you got your helmet on. And I looked around, all my guys had this kind of look like something dramatic happened. And I knew Robert hadn't run yet. He was behind us, I think. So that's when they said Hagan lost. I went, wow, okay, focus forward, right? And we raced Tim Wilkerson the second round, which I said in my interview with Fox, and I think some people took it the wrong way for whatever reason, but I said, man, and Robert was behind us. So this is second round. We had to keep winning, obviously. And I said, if we can't beat guys like Tim Wilkerson at the Pomona World Finals, we don't deserve to be world champions. I mean, because that's the best of the best, and you've got to go up there and prove you're the best of the best. You can't, to be the champion, you got to beat the champions. And so we had just beat Wilkerson in a very close race. We went low ET first round, went low ET second round, went 385 first round. And I believe we went 86 the second round to beat Wilkerson. And I was getting ready to do the interview, just took my stuff off and put it in the tow vehicle. And I hear a bunch of craziness going on. Amanda Busick runs around the back and she's holding her microphone. She's screaming and yelling. And my guy that drives the car back is beating on the car. And I didn't understand what was going on. And one of my crew guys said, Robert just lost to Tasca. And so I went into okay, calm down mode. I've been down this road before.
Oh, yeah.
I told all my guys, okay, it's great, but everybody calm down. And when the car left and they towed it away, Amanda looked at me and we got ready to start the interview. And she goes, I can't believe you're the calmest one around here. And I said, I've been here before. I've lost by 2 points. So anyway, that's where I was when Robert lost. And we did the interview as he came around the corner. I didn't even want to go near him because I'd been there before. But I was at the top end of the track when that all went down.
Well, that pretty much answers the first question I wanted to ask you. What did you learn and how were you able to implement what you learned in that battle against Jack Beckman in 2012, where you did lose by 2 points in Pomona? And how did that carry over into how you handled this past Sunday?
Well, I lost to Force by less than a round a couple of times before that. Lost to Selzy, my teammate, the 1 year by 10 points or 12 points or 8? No, 6 points. So Beckman 2 points, Selzy 6 points. less than a round.
Wow.
I think all those moments just, maybe not. I might be lying. I just told the media those moments have hardened me and made me better for these moments when they come up again. But honestly, I felt like it was my rookie year, and I wanted to throw up, every moment on Sunday, especially going into the Wilkerson's round. And then, once Robert lost, racing Tasca, I mean, those are the biggest moments coming up. And it's just, I don't remember those moments that happened in the past in those moments on Sunday. You're in the middle of it, and you're all of a sudden, it's everything to you, everything in that one split second to do everything right. So I don't know, that maybe it did help me subconsciously to stay calm. I think over the years I've learned to kind of stay calm in those moments, but inside I'm a mess, honestly.
I can only imagine. Ron Capture, 3-time funny car champion, joining us here in the Freaks Pits. Now back-to-back champions. And you mentioned earlier at the interview, you've always wanted to be in that very last second scenario. Last run, last event. Was it worth it? Was it what you expected? Was it everything that you chalked it up to be in your head?
Oh, crash. I just wanted to live that moment of the actual moment. I didn't want to go through all the stress crap leading into it, which I was questioning in the car. I'm going, once Robert lost and we were racing Tasca the next round, all we had to do was win that round, right? So you're up there trying to do the same thing. I can tell everybody's a wreck. Guido, his hand was shaking on the injector. We already started. I haven't even told him I noticed this. And I could tell it was a big moment for everybody, right? So then we make that run. We beat him, and I get out of the car, and they can't give me the trophy, and they can't celebrate my being the world champion because there's a silly rule still out there that you can't, if you cross the center line in the final round, between the 1,000-foot, what is our finish line of the old 1320, you lose 5 points. For some reason, that rule was still out there, which a lot of people had forgotten, and I was reminded of. So there's another roller coaster moment added to it, which fast forward to the final round. Do we just hit the gas and shut off and put my hand out the window and coast down and not give the fans what they wanted and collect the world championship? So that was another moment that we had during the day that it wasn't completely over. So there were a lot of different things that just kept going and going and going with these big moments. Crazy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Ron Capps. I'm tempted to say I'm glad you're not racing against Max Verstappen.
Yeah.
Third, yeah, you get it. Yeah, 3rd-time champion. I love you, dude. Ever since we played racquetball before the Speed Freak Nation started, Robert Height, John Force. I imagine you guys are friends. You might have dinner in the off season. What's it mean to beat Height? Is that going to change your friendship at all?
I probably want to give him a couple months. I've been in that spot. I didn't even go up to him at the banquet. I knew how much it burns. I have sat through so many banquets, listened to long, bloated speeches. I know how tough it was for him. So that being said, I'll give him some time. But I know he knows the situation as well. He's been down that road. So it's tough. It is tough. They won 8 races and didn't win a championship. That is bizarro land. I mean, who in the world would have thought that would have happened? So it's crazy. It's the playoffs, and it's just craziness. And we were consistently there, and we showed up when we had to, and we showed them all we could be those guys when people, started counting us out. We had some big moments of races we won. And somebody in my last interview just said that I didn't lead the points one time all season long until Sunday afternoon when it counted. And that's another crazy stat.
But hold on just a second, though. He can't be mad at you. He can be mad at the system, but he can't be mad at you. I mean, in the past, have you been mad at other drivers or just the system?
Well, for a while, yeah, I'm mad at other drivers, other crew members, other teams. Yeah, at the level that we hate to lose and that we lose and win by fractions of a second that decide our lives and the way our days and nights go. Yeah, Yeah, you don't necessarily personally hate them, but you don't want to see the number one on their car. You don't want to go up and hear their speech at the banquet. I mean, you just want to leave. So I've been there, and I don't doubt it. It's the same for them, and I don't blame them. But I also am the first to tell that team how much I respect them. And when we lose to them or we beat them, I always go right over to Robert's team, same with Hagen's, and I tell them how much they raise the bar for us, how much they make us work harder to beat them. When we get beat by them, I tell them how good a run that was and how, hey, hats off, man. And that's the way it is.
So Ron Capps' first year as a team owner, had a lot of success this year. 5 wins. What do I have here? 3 runner-ups, 6 top qualifiers. Your 3rd championship. Is there anything inside of you during this run in the past week that says I should have done this, take over my own team sooner?
Yeah, I wanted to forever, but I think it worked out perfect. I don't think I would have been ready for it. First of all, I wouldn't have had the backing with Napa coming back on board and coming with me, and then Toyota jumping on board, and the way we got that super body that they worked really hard at. None of that. I think it all worked out perfect. I would have loved to, and I look back and I think, man, it's easy to say in hindsight, but I think things worked out perfect. I've gained some knowledge with my older age since then. The pandemic really had a big effect on me and where I was at, and really caused me to make the move, whether I was ready or not. And so it just worked out perfect, I think.
So is Supra, Toyota, are we going to see a Ron Capps funny car in some poster, some showroom to say that if you get a Supra, you could also go 330 miles an hour in a quarter mile?
Well, I don't know about that, but it's a cool car. I'll tell you that much. I was, before this all went down, I didn't pay much attention to the cars like that. And man, the press conference we did in Charlotte, and I got to drive the new Supras, man, I was super impressed with them. So yeah, I can honestly say I've got the world's fastest Supra, and it's pretty cool to say that. But just being around that company, the Toyota company, and all the employees and the people at the racetrack is just life-changing. I think I told you that.
Ron, let me cut you off. I'm sorry to cut you off, but let me ask a bit technical question. Is the car that much slipperier, if that's a word, going through the air, that you got into something that maybe gave you a little advantage?
I think with the parameters the NHRA gives with the funny car teams, we can't do a whole lot nowadays. They were given parameters when they built this car from scratch. Slugger Labby and the Toyota people did this car basically from scratch. They got rid of the old car that JR and Alexis and all them ran. So they had to start from scratch, but they also had these parameters that are kept pretty close with all the other manufacturers, very close. It's not like the old days. So what I think is the coolest part is they made it look like a Supra, and that's pretty cool to pull a Supra up next to it. You can't say that about all the funny car bodies out there, unfortunately. So I think they did as good a job they could to make it look like it. But honestly, when we got the body, the work that Guido and Medlin did on it to get to where we were, to get close to where we were and what they were used to in the years before that with the body we had, not knowing exact numbers from the old versus the new, it was all racetrack data. We didn't go to the wind tunnel. They learned, Slugger took it back to the wind tunnel, but Guido and Medlin, and then talking with Jono and Dell, learned a lot from each other, and that accelerated, I think, a lot of what we did, and instantly our car started going the speeds that we ran before, which was 330 plus. So to answer your question, I don't think it's any slipperier per se, or any more downforce or drag to a lot of degree than any of these other bodies out there. But I think that the hard work that we did, we've got some cool stuff that John Medlin and Slugger and all those guys implemented that didn't change the way the funny car body is, but the way we worked with it, I think. That makes sense.
Capps, your 3-time NHRA funny car champion here in the Freaks pits. The last time we had you on, I believe, you had just won Indianapolis, your first U.S. Nationals. All those trophies behind you, which one's Indy?
and he's out front.
Of course it is.
Along with the 2 championship trophies. My wife doesn't let a lot of race stuff in the house, and those are a couple that get to be in the house, along with the All-Star Shootout belt. Looks like a WWE belt. That's out there. So it's pretty cool to have it out near where we spend a lot of our family time watching TV. And I'll look over and there's a championship trophy sitting there, and it's pretty darn cool to just be sitting there and watching a TV show and look over and seeing what we accomplished in that big trophy. So yeah, it made it to the front room, which I never thought anything in my race stuff would ever make it out there. So that's pretty neat.
Crasher, we've been ordering from Omaha Steaks for so long now that we've influenced your family, including your mom. Just before Christmas, bam, right to our front door, we get those juicy steaks, tasty burgers, ready for the holiday season.
It's every season, and you know her favorite, and it's now mine too, chicken cordon bleu. I mean, it's so much more than steaks at omahasteaks.com. Chicken, appetizers, green bean casserole, broccoli gratin, corn. Oh my gosh, the variety is incredible. The quality is second to none, and the convenience?
It doesn't get any more convenient than omahasteaks.com. Use code FREAKS, FREAKS at your checkout and get $30 off your order.
omahasteaks.com. Check out with code FREAKS to be happy.
I could taste them right now. Omaha Steaks, ready to ship your order right away. So shop now. Beat the rush, man.
That's omahasteaks.com. Use promo code FREAKS to check out with $30 off your order. Minimum order may be required.
Oh, that's amazing.
Ron, you brought it up in the interview about how you could have just laid down against Cruz Pedregon. In fact, I don't even think you needed to make it up to the line, but you gave the fans what they wanted. You went the full 1,000 feet. Be honest with me, man. You guys had to have a conversation about, Ron, what are you going to do here? Was there ever a time when you said, I'm just going to start it up and burn out and that's it?
We got back after that interview of the semis, and I walked right up in and shut the door, and we had a closed door meeting, Guido and Medlin and I, and we discussed it. And the smart thing was to go out there and shut it off and just run it coast. Everybody would understand, right? Because I was only going to win by 3 points, or I could conversely go over the center line, get docked 5 points, and lose a world championship by 2 points again. So we had that meeting, and it would have gone a lot different had I been a hired driver. I promise you, I probably would have been told by the owner to be safe. But Guido looked at me and he said, "You're one of the best I've been around. Step on the gas. If you don't feel comfortable, shut it off. Nobody will even bat an eye. They're not going to have an issue."
I think I heard his computer.
Oh.
I heard a little
Room.
Yes.
My laptop just died. Like literally just it flashed a thing and shut off. So anyway, I'm on my phone. I hope you can splice it together.
Yeah,
For everybody watching, hey, everybody at home, make sure your power cord when you're doing these important interviews is plugged into your laptop, because it literally shut off. I've been doing media all morning. But we had a closed door meeting, and Guido just said, "Look, you're one of the best. I'm comfortable with you stepping on the gas. And if you don't feel comfortable, shut it off. Nobody will bat an eye. Nobody will worry about what you're doing."
So even when you went over to the wall, you never thought about shutting it off?
Statman, hold on. Let me finish my story. This is where it gets good. So I'm packing my chute, and I see a mutual friend. I say, "Go grab Del Worsham for me." And they're rushing us for live TV, rushing us. And so I see Del coming down from his pit area, and I run up and meet him halfway. In fact, right in front of the Coletta's trailer. And I respect the hell out of Del, and he's one of my favorite people, driver, owner, whatever. And I expressed to him the same thing. I talked to Guido and Medlin. I said, "What would your take be?" And he said, "Man, go step on the gas. You're going to know." And I said, "Del, you remember these things. When I run 380 at 335, you're hanging on. And it puts a cylinder out or two. It will shove you over 10 feet. He said, "Yeah, I know, but you're one of the best." He said the same thing Guido said. He said, "Step on the gas." He goes, "Nobody's going to blame you." So I had all that going in my head, right? And went up there. We started the car. I still didn't know what I was going to do. We started the car, and right before that, Guido said, "I'm going to try to run quicker than we qualified number one on Saturday night, which was 383 track record." And he said, "I'm going to try to go 340 miles an hour on this run." So if you stay in it, hang on. And then they started the car and I went, shit. All right, man, what am I going to do? So I did this big long burnout because I thought I'm going to give the fans, and we don't get to do long burnouts anymore. And I went, heck, I'm going to do a long burnout. So I did way out to half track, and my crew guy that backs me up is running. His hat flies off. He's trying to keep up with me. He's almost falling. I haul ass backwards faster than, I mean, like old school John Force backing up. And they shut the body. I roll forward. I still didn't know. My intentions were just make a run. But in my head, we checked with NHRA going up there, and I had somebody triple check to make sure the infraction for points only was if I crossed the center line between the 1,000-foot, our finish line, and the 1320. That was the rule. But what would happen if I touched the wall? They said, no points, just DQ the run. Okay. So when I stepped on the gas, it started hauling the mail. The clutch came in sooner than it did Saturday night, which in my head, I went, okay, he's trying to haul ass and run 340 miles an hour. The conditions are there, the track's there, why not, right? So to be safe, I kind of let the car get over next, a little bit to the left of the groove, and I said, okay, I'm going to keep it here. If anything gets weird, I got a little extra room. And unfortunately, that left lane takes you naturally down to the other track to the left. It always has to everybody. So I was ready for it. I was kind of steering into it, but I was over a little bit. And I was just watching the wall, the corner of my eye. And I'm like, I'm going to take it down. I still didn't see Cruz. So in my head, I'm like, if he smoked the tires, they're supposed to hit my ignition button and shut me off. So he must have not smoked the tires, but I don't see him. And I know it's hauling ass. So at the same time, I've got all that crap going on in my head. And, you know, this is a matter of split seconds. I'm trying to make a decision. And it's getting closer to the wall, getting closer, but it's hauling ass. And I still don't see Cruz out my other window. And in my head, I'm also thinking I could be the dumbest guy come Monday morning on the planet in drag racing for going out there and losing a championship because he wanted to make the run. And on top of that, I hate losing the Cruz. So I got all this going on in my brain, and it's hauling ass. And it finally made a little move, and I had to shut it off. And if you watch the TV, the slow-mo, they freeze framed it. And Cruz he's crossed the finish line, and I'm a car length behind him. And then Guido said I shut it off at 850 feet. So would we beat him? I don't know. He made a pretty incredible run at 383. We were right there. If it went 340, who knows, right? Or if it went 339, which we've done before. So that was kind of what was going on in my head. But honestly, back up from the burnout, after doing that long burnout, I remember being a fan in the grandstands and seeing these moments where I wasn't a teammate with Cruz that night, but I've seen teammates take dives, you know, or not make a run because it's a smart thing to do in certain situations. And I know how disappointed fans would be if they didn't see a side-by-side run. So that was my main factor, is to run it down there as far as I could to give the fans that have stuck around all day and not be that guy that came by. Yeah, you won a world championship, but way to shut it off and coast, right? What a wuss. And I didn't want to go through that either. So there were a lot of factors going into that. And the coolest thing ever was all Sunday night. And when I checked in for the awards banquet at our casino hotel, I had crew chiefs and drivers coming up to me and grabbing me, just saying, dude, that was the coolest thing ever. Nobody thought you were going to run it down there. And the fact you stayed on it and it was over next to the wall, to hear another mutual, you know, a crew chief that we race against tell me that was pretty darn cool, and really made it all worth it.
Wow.
Whoa. It's more than just a slogan. General Tire delivers for whatever you do. General Tire's Grabber X3 mud terrain tire offers aggressive styling and is engineered for durability with innovative performance features that are ready to carry you through extreme mud, dirt, and rock-covered terrain. For extreme traction that's ready for anything and rugged styling to match, look no further than the Grabber X3. General Tire delivers for whatever you do. Check out GeneralTire.com today. General Tire, aggressively styling the Speed Freaks since 2001.
Hey, Dad, what are you going to buy at the store today?
I'm out of Lucas Oil fuel treatment, so let's jump in here and grab us some.
Well, do they have the Lucas Oil parts cleaner and degreaser?
I bet they do.
Well, how about the Lucas Oil power steering fluid?
You know, they'll have that too.
Even the octane booster?
I won't be surprised if they do.
My favorite red and tacky grease?
Yes, they will, babe.
Dad, when we're done, can we grab some candy?
Deal, but you gotta share.
Awesome! Lucas works.
And by the way, for those of you that aren't quite grasping, everything he just said happened in 3 seconds.
Yeah. Less. Yeah.
Holy
Crazy.
cow.
Man.
That's an amazing story.
Dumb, maybe, probably,
Yeah.
but
No.
it worked out. I'm talking to you, so it worked out.
Oh my gosh.
There's his legacy right there. You can win 10 more titles. It's not going to matter. People are going to remember that moment.
Right.
That's cool. That's cool.
Oh boy. Ron Capps, is this Tony Stewart telling you you're going to be in the SRX races next year?
I am going to let Tony announce what that conversation was at the right time. Great conversation with him. We had a great night at the banquet. He helped quite a bit in the off season in a lot of different ways. And obviously I've been friends with, I think back to when you and I ran Sedalia, Kenny, and all those dirt races that Selzy and I ran with Tony, and the driving midget at the Chili Bowl, and him inviting me as a drag racer into that Prelude to the Dream for the first year, and then every year thereafter. But to see him run around smiling at a drag race is pretty darn cool all this season. You never used to see that with Tony Stewart. So I'm glad he's at that point in his life. But that conversation was pretty fun. And I called him out in my speech, and it started the whole thing. And then he grabbed me afterwards, and we had that eye-to-eye discussion, which was pretty cool. So I'll let him discuss it when the time is right.
So you're not going to tell us that he's going to go running Top Fuel next year?
Well, I can tell you it's going to be better than that.
What?
He's going to run Funny Car next year.
I'm not telling you anything. I'll let him discuss it.
It's going to be better than that. What the hell is that?
What the hell's better than
Sorry.
He's going to run. He's going to run golf carts. That's what he's going to do.
It's buying the NHRA. That's what he's doing.
Oh,
I've gotten more calls this morning on that little thing I said. I forgot I even wrote that in the post. I'm like, why is everybody asking me about that picture of Tony and I? If you were at the banquet, you heard me. You would have heard what I said. I kind of snuck it in the middle of me thanking a couple different people.
Mm-hmm.
But it got his attention when I said it. Yeah.
well,
That's so badass.
it's going to be a good off season.
Yeah, I know the banker who got the money for him to buy Eldora, so maybe I'll call him and find out about the NHRA.
You never know.
This is awesome, buddy. We're happy for you, man. Just being an owner and kicking some ass and taking home that trophy's awesome.
Yes.
Yeah, you would think with all that coolness, I would have charged my laptop, right? Oh, you're talking about a helpless feeling when it just goes kapoof and you guys disappear right in the middle of my good story too. But hey, it worked out good. I came back on a different view. I'm on my phone.
Bang.
Anything for you guys.
If a laptop goes kapoof and the car doesn't go kapoof, everything is fine.
It all worked out.
Yes.
You went the full 1,000 feet with us, buddy.
Yeah.
You go.
You crossed the line.
Thank God.
Ron, we're proud of you, man. Happy New Year and happy holidays, buddy.
You too, man. Look forward to seeing you guys. We'll have to get together in the off season.
Attaboy.
Definitely.
Thank you, buddy.
You man. See you guys.